All right, so the holidays are here. We're celebrating with family. We always like to do that with the prime rib. It's one of the most delicious things you can do, especially whenever you're having a big family gathering. So we're going to show you how we do that with the oven today. And we want to show you how you can make an amazing holiday meal. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing you want to make sure you're doing is set this out a couple hours ahead of time. You don't want this to be cold on the inside when you start cooking it, so we've got it set out, and we're gonna get it out of the way while we start on our seasoning. You can be really simple with this if you want to, but I'm not a simple guy, so we're not gonna be simple. Simple as that. We're gonna make some rosemary salt, which goes tremendous with beef, so I'm gonna show you how we do that. That's why we got the blender here. Start off with some rosemary. You're gonna take it and just simply pull it back off the stem. Get as much as you can. The best part is that your hands are gonna smell like rosemary the rest of the day. All right, we've got 5 or 6 sprigs of rosemary there. We're gonna take it and put it straight into the blender. Now we've got 5 pretty big cloves of garlic here. We're just gonna, I don't even know why I did that. I don't have to chop it up, it's going in a blender. So put it in the blender. I've got 1.5 to 2 cups of kosher salt. You don't really want to use sea salt or fine table salt. And I spilled it. We've got some peppercorns here, probably 1/2 cup because I'm out of peppercorns, I found out today. So I've also got some already ground up black pepper, but add some pepper to it. All right, now we're just gonna put this in the blender. Maybe. Yeah. And we're gonna pulse it a few times. And just like that, we've got our rosemary salt here. Now we're gonna be doing what's called reverse searing. And this is what I think is the best way to do it in the oven. It means we're going to slowly cook this really low for several hours, probably 3 or 4 hours. And that the time it takes to cook depends on how big the cut of beef is. We're gonna be cooking this on 250 degrees for probably 3 to 4 hours. Once it gets up to the temperature we want inside of it, we're gonna pull it out, let it rest for about 30 minutes. We're gonna crank the oven up after that to about 550 degrees, however hot your oven will go. We're gonna sear this bad boy as hot as we can get it. You make an awesome crust all the way around it. All right, if you have a roasting rack, I would recommend using that. We don't, so we're gonna be using a sheet pan here. It's also gonna be good to catch all the drippings, and we can make an awesome little jus after we get done. I'm gonna take some olive oil and rub it around. This is gonna help our seasoning stick to it. All right, we're gonna take our rosemary salt here and just put it on and rub it in. Try to get it all over. All right, once this thing is pretty well covered, I'm gonna transfer it to this rack. I'm gonna go with the fat side up. All right, this is gonna go in the oven, and we're gonna check on it after a few hours. It's a 250 degree oven. See how it goes. All right, so we've got our prime rib in the oven. Now let's talk about what we can accompany our prime rib with. Prime rib really doesn't need anything. You can eat it just like a steak. It's delicious like that, but I like to have a few things every time I do it. We're always gonna do an au jus, which is gonna take the drippings and all the remainings from the roast as it cooks, collect those, make a little dipping sauce for it. I also really like to have horseradish with mine. So we're gonna make a horseradish cream sauce. You could do a chimichurri sauce. You could do a lot of things like that, anything that goes good with beef. This is what we like to do, so let's show you how we make that. So we're going to start with about a cup of mayo. And I'm just kind of guessing here. We're going to taste it, and we may have to add a little bit of stuff. And we're going to add about the same amount of sour cream. Maybe even a little more of the sour cream. I don't even know why I have a measuring cup out. It's not like I'm going to use it. We're going to take a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce. I don't think anybody knows how to really say that. A couple dashes of that stuff. Then we're going to add our horseradish. Big heaping spoonful of that. You can add salt and pepper. We're going to add a little bit of this rosemary salt to it as well. Give it a kick. Mix that up really well. Put it in the fridge and let it come together while your roast is cooking.
All right, now we've got this roast in the oven. Let's talk about how you like your steak done. For me, I like it medium rare. So you're going to need a food thermometer that's going to help you know where it's at. For beef, medium rare is at 135 degrees. So we're going to pull our roast out of the oven at around 125 degrees dead center. Now, let's talk about the au jus. It's one of the most important things to me. I love a good au jus to dip this in. So for me, I like to take a few tablespoons of the beef dripping and add it to a pot. We're going to take a couple cups of beef stock, but what we're going to do is we're going to put that over a stovetop, let it simmer while this prime rib is finishing. By the time it's done, it's going to be a little bit thicker. We're going to go ahead and throw this straight into that 500 degree oven for 5 to 10 minutes. This is going to help get a good crust on the outside, but let it cook for 5 to 10 minutes. Once that crust is developed, pull it out and let it sit for another 15 to 20 minutes. Please, you're gonna be happy you did. But after it's rested 15 to 20 minutes, we get to slice it. If you want to gather an audience for this, I highly recommend it. But we're over here at my parents' house. We're gonna slice this up real quick. What I like to do is I like to know how many people I'm cooking for. You can kind of take your knife and make little indentions and make sure that you have the right amount of steaks cut as you do it, so that there's not a few that are going to end up being a lot thinner because you didn't cut enough. So prepare kind of in your mind to go ahead and see how many you know you need. Make some small incisions so you know where you're cutting at. So I've also cooked a prime rib for people who've never had it before. They may be a little bit turned off by the fact that it has this really pink color inside. Don't let them think it's undercooked or anything. Make sure you know that they understand what it is. That inside of the steak doesn't have any direct heat, so it's not going to get any sort of color. That's why it's red and pink. It can be off-putting for some people that's never seen that. So just let them know that that's what that's from. It's certainly cooked. You've used a thermometer to guarantee that, and you can just see the steam coming off of that. It's perfectly cooked, even edge to edge doneness. Now, if we would have seared this and then put it in the oven like a lot of people do, you wouldn't have that complete doneness from edge to edge that's even. There's a very, very small gray ring on the outside from where we seared it. If you would have seared it first, it would have been much deeper, going all the way into that ribeye cap. And it doesn't make for as good of a final product. And that way it's a pretty even cut size for everybody. But that's pretty much it for this. I recommend serving it with that horseradish sauce and some au jus. We made some roasted garlic mashed potatoes to accompany this. This was hands down one of the best prime ribs I've ever done. The rosemary salt just goes so well with this. I can't really explain it. You just have to try it. I highly, highly recommend doing this for a special occasion like Christmas. You're not going to go wrong with a prime rib. But that's pretty much it for this recipe. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to us if you would go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to that and like this video. Be sure to share this with all your friends. Let us know what you want to see us cook next. Shoot us a comment, send us a DM. We'd be happy to take any requests. We're always looking for engagement within our community, so please feel free to reach out to us. And as always, thanks for watching.